Today our topic is the Stoic Secret to Happiness. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life, even when things are tough. It is not about being emotionless or cold. Instead, it is about understanding what we can control and what we cannot. The Stoics believe that happiness comes from within, not from the things around us. Let's explore how this idea can help us find peace and joy in our daily lives. The first key idea in Stoicism is understanding what is in our control and what is not. We cannot control the weather, other people's actions, or the past. But we can control our thoughts, our actions, and how we respond to what happens to us. This is a powerful idea because it means we always have a choice. Even in difficult situations, we can choose how to react. For example, if someone says something hurtful to us, we cannot control their words, but we can control whether we let those words upset us. By focusing on what we can control, we stop wasting energy on things we cannot change. This brings us to the second key idea, acceptance. The Stoics believe that we should accept the things we cannot change. This does not mean we should give up or stop trying to improve our lives. It means we should stop fighting against reality. Life is full of challenges, and sometimes things do not go the way we want. Instead of getting angry or frustrated, we can choose to accept what has happened and focus on what we can do next. For example, if we lose our job, we cannot change that fact, but we can focus on finding a new one or learning new skills. Acceptance helps us stay calm and focused, even in difficult times. The third key idea is gratitude. The Stoics believe that we should be grateful for what we have, even if it is not perfect. Often, we focus on what we lack and forget to appreciate what we already have. By practicing gratitude, we can shift our focus to the good things in our lives. This does not mean we ignore our problems, but it helps us see that even in hard times, there are things to be thankful for. For example, we might not have everything we want, but we have our health, our family, or a roof over our heads. Gratitude helps us find joy in the present moment, rather than always chasing after something better. Another important idea in Stoicism is the concept of virtue. The Stoics believed that living a good life means living with virtue. Virtue includes qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When we act with virtue, we are true to ourselves and our values. This brings us inner peace and a sense of fulfillment. For example, if we are honest and kind, even when it is hard, we feel good about ourselves. On the other hand, if we act in ways that go against our values, we feel unhappy and conflicted. The Stoics believe that virtue is the only thing that truly matters, because it is something we can always control. No matter what happens, we can choose to act with integrity and kindness. Stoicism also teaches us to focus on the present moment. Often we worry about the future or dwell on the past. But the Stoics believed that the only moment we truly have is the present. By focusing on the here and now, we can fully experience life and make the most of each moment. For example, instead of worrying about what might happen tomorrow, we can focus on what we are doing right now. This helps us feel more grounded and less anxious. It also reminds us that life is short, and we should make the most of the time we have. Another powerful idea in Stoicism is the practice of negative visualization. This might sound strange, but it is a way to prepare ourselves for challenges and appreciate what we have. Negative visualization means imagining the worst-case scenario and thinking about how we would handle it. For example, we might imagine losing our job, getting sick, or losing a loved one. By thinking about these difficult situations, we realize that we are stronger than we think. We also learn to appreciate what we have while we still have it. This practice helps us stay resilient and grateful, even in hard times. Stoicism also teaches us to be mindful of our desires. Often, we think that happiness comes from getting what we want. But the Stoics believed that true happiness comes from wanting less, not more. When we constantly chase after things, we are never satisfied. There's always something else we want. But if we learn to be content with what we have, we find peace and happiness. For example, instead of always wanting more money or more possessions, we can focus on enjoying the simple things in life, like spending time with loved ones or enjoying nature. This does not mean we should not have goals or ambitions, but it means we should not let our happiness depend on external things. Another important lesson from Stoicism is the idea of Memento Mori, which means remember that you will die. This might sound dark, but it is a reminder to live fully and appreciate the time we have. When we remember that life is short, we are more likely to focus on what truly matters. We stop wasting time on things that are not important and start living with purpose. For example, instead of holding grudges or worrying about small things, we can focus on being kind, loving, and making a positive impact in the world. Memento Mori reminds us to live each day as if it could be our last. Stoicism also teaches us to be humble. The Stoics believed that we are all part of something bigger than ourselves. We are not the center of the universe, and we should not act as if we are. Humility helps us stay grounded and connected to others. It reminds us that we are all human, and we all make mistakes. When we are humble, we are more open to learning and growing. We also treat others with kindness and respect, because we realize that we are all in this together. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to find meaning in our struggles. Life is not always easy, and we will face challenges and setbacks. But the Stoics believed that these difficulties are opportunities for growth. When we face challenges, we have the chance to develop strength, resilience, and wisdom. For example, if we go through a difficult time, we might learn more about ourselves and what we are capable of. We might also develop more empathy for others who are struggling. By finding meaning in our struggles, we can turn even the hardest times into something valuable. In conclusion, the Stoic secret to happiness is about focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot change, and living with virtue and gratitude. It is about being present, wanting less, and finding meaning in our struggles. Stoicism teaches us that happiness comes from within, not from external things. By practicing these principles, we can find peace and joy, even in difficult times. Life will always have its ups and downs, but with Stoicism, we can learn to navigate them with grace and strength. Remember, happiness is not something we find outside ourselves. It is something we create within, by the way we think, act, and live. So, let us focus on what we can control, accept what we cannot change, and live each day with purpose and gratitude. This is the Stoic way to happiness.